I almost didn't even go to the meeting. And just from that one meeting, I've got 4 or 5 different leads now.
Clay, he's a realtor. He called me up and goes, "You're not going to believe what happened. I put some tools to work and this is how it played out." Clay, do you mind just sharing a little bit?
Totally. We learn so much on these calls. So when you actually get to see it play out and like connect the dots on it, it's super exciting. I'm a realtor, but I also own a company that manages Airbnbs. I want to manage more houses. So I send out like a letter to all the riverfront houses. The riverfront houses rent out the best. Had a lady call up, "Hey, I'm super interested." She's an older lady who loves her properties and doesn't want to get them damaged. Her big thing was, "I just want you to rent them out during the winter time." And the winter time is a slow season. It wouldn't even be worth it for me. I knew that going into it. I'm like, all right, she only wants to rent it out in the shitty season. The summer is where you make all your money. At first, my initial thought was, is it worth going over there? But then we always talk about reps. So I'm like, all right, that's practice right there. That's one rep. I know I'm walking in there. She doesn't want me to do what I want to do. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to meet her and see how it goes. I know I don't want to rent it out, but maybe she wants to sell it. I didn't even mention that on the phone or anything. I was just going over there to kind of feel her out. She owns 3 riverfront houses. She's showing me the first house, and right away she goes, "Just so you know, I'm not selling these." I'm like, shit, that's basically why I came over here. We walk into the second house and she brings it up again. "People want to buy it, but I'm not selling the house." And then she goes, "Because the capital gains are crazy." Well, I know a way to get away from capital gains. It's owner carry. If I'm buying it, I would want to buy it on an owner carry. In the back of my mind, she told me 3 times. And so my initial gut is like, all right, she made herself clear that she's not going to sell. I would be a dick to even bring it up. But what we talk about is you get no's all the time. She's not going to punch me in the face. She's not going to yell at me or anything like that. I know it's going to be weird, but I'm just like, "Hey, I know you said you didn't want to sell it, but I've been looking for a riverfront house to buy for myself. And I know you don't want to pay all your money to Uncle Sam. So what if I just gave you like $50,000 down and then I just made payments to you like $2,000 a month for the next 10 years? She goes, "Oh yeah, I didn't even really think about that. I would consider doing something like that." And it was that easy. Right away, she's already considering it. I almost didn't even ask. But then I was just like, we talk about it all the time. Why am I here if I'm not going to actually practice it? We also talk about networking. That's another big thing. She's owned these houses for so long. I know that she's going to know the story about the houses next to her. And I go, "Do you know any houses that people kind of abandoned?" She goes, "Oh, actually, look at that one next door." She brings me over. We look at it and there's fucking weeds growing everywhere. I'm like, "Okay, what's her story?" She goes, "He asked me if I wanted to buy it for $190,000, but I didn't want to do it." I go, "Do you have his number?" She goes, "Yeah, I can give you his number." And then I go, "Do you know anyone else?" So we go to the third house and she goes, "This person right here, I haven't seen them in years. And the kids, they trashed it. And so it's basically abandoned." I go, "Do you have their number?" "Yeah, I do." And I know her house at minimum, I could sell it for 700 grand in a week. She was telling me, "Yeah, can you believe they listed that house next door for 750 grand? These houses are only worth 500,000. I'm like, yeah. If that's what you want, I'm down to pay that. I almost didn't even go to the meeting. And just from that one meeting, I've got 4 or 5 different leads now. We talk about this shit all the time. And then when you actually see it come together, you can actually pinpoint. I remember when Mike said that. I remember when Bo said that. It's cool when you can actually practice what is being preached.
How do you find properties 30% undervalued that cash flow in 90 days? Well, there's a guy right there that sounds like he found a net full of them. It's all about doing what we're talking about.